Hello, everyone. This is Political Chit Chat, and I'm your host, Gonzalo Duran. Today's honored guest is Jonathan Rinaldi, running for City Council District 29 in Queens. John, thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me, my brother.
Thanks, man. So, for the audience that may not know who you are, give us a little bit about your background.
I'm from Queens. I'm from Forest Hills. I'm just a parent. I grew up in the 90s. You know, my sense of, what's right and what we have to do for our neighborhood and for our kids is what's driving me to do what I do. All I did was learn how to fill out paperwork, and I'm running for office. Anybody can do it. You can do it. Kids can do it. 18-year-olds can do it. But that's just who I am, just somebody that wants to make sure that the city is good for my kids and for the future. And I only care about the welfare of the neighborhood.
Well, that's beautiful to hear. Now, let's talk about Queens. What's going on in Queens that you decided to say, hey, I'm going to run this year?
I think the main thing that's going on, specifically even for a few years ago, is just even when COVID happened, there was a lot of overreach, government overreach. A lot of decisions were made without the input of the community. Even today, with the City of Yes and a lot of the zoning and a lot of the policies that are being written by special interests, the communities, the parents have no say anymore in what goes on. And I think that for the welfare and safety and future of our neighborhood is that we all have to be involved and we have to say what goes on. And things can't be centralized. They can't be blanket ideas that cover every neighborhood. They're not all the same. So I'm just against centralization, and I want to have a voice.
I mean, so just to break down one of the things like City of Yes, that had like multiple parts of it, and then each one touched on many different subjects. So like for housing, there wasn't just a change in zoning for housing, it changes businesses and made different aspects of that.
Yeah, it's very complicated. But one of the things you got to understand about how the city works is that a city is a big giant ship. That thing's been steering for years. The City of Yes, just because it was put forth and passed, everything's already in place years ago for these things. It's just the way that it was presented because it's based on an ideology. They want us to be carbon neutral. They don't want us driving cars. They want us all with no gas. They want us all on electric, right? That's the vision that they have for us, where we are completely dependent and reliant on electricity without any kind of alternative fuel whatsoever, and they don't want us driving. And how do they get us to that point? And everything else is just window dressed, and call it any kind of name you'd like, but that's the direction that they want us to be in the city for the future.
So for when you're talking about the electricity part, one of the things that I've been seeing is the lithium batteries, right? Because of the downgrade in our power source, that's been increasing. And they've been using lithium batteries for different things. City of Yes gave the ability to run for, let's say, these power plants without telling the community, bypassing the community boards, the community, and being able to even supersede, let's say, construction signs. So, like, I've been to some protests where they were like, the neighbors were coming out, the business owners were coming out saying, hey, what are you guys protesting? Oh, there's a lithium battery coming over here. And they're like, a plant coming over here. They're like, what? We didn't know that. We thought it was going to be some housing or a building or something like that.
Yeah, well, there's three parts to the City of Yes. They voted on it in three different sections. The last one was housing opportunity. They have economic opportunity, and then it's basically just energy, right? So when you're seeing the issue with the City of Yes is this. The infrastructure is not included. No parks, no streets, no fire department, no police, no school, nothing. And this ties into public housing, because the trick that they did is because they want everybody going on Section 8 as opposed to Section 9. I would prefer that people have the social services. Now, Section 8, you pay for utilities. You see, when they're trying to convert us all to this electric energy grid, they don't have any of the infrastructure. They don't have the power in the streets. They don't have the sewers. They don't have anything built. So they're giving homeowners and builders incentives, in quotes, so that they then pay for the infrastructure upgrades, because the city doesn't have the money because of the bad policies for the last few years. So they want us all to be energy independent, but actually we're super energy dependent. It's going to affect public housing because all of you that get public assistance, congratulations, your bills are going to go up exponentially because there's not enough electricity. Con Ed's already been to the community boards, they don't have it. Your schools are going to get overcrowded. There's no money to build more schools. You're going to have increased in density, which you're going to have more. There's already no place to put everyone that has mental health issues. You're going to have more people on the subways, more people everywhere. There's no police to protect you. So it's all in all, it's a bad deal. And that's one of the things I want to talk about, because my vision for Queens is an infrastructure vision. And my vision for Queens is not one that puts an increased regressive tax on everybody to push a policy that we're not ready for, and it's going to make things extremely expensive for us to raise our family and to even live.
So now you brought in what your vision is. So what's one policy that you want, what's one of the policies that you want to work on if you win?
Well, I think the first and foremost is that the worker and the homeowner need relief. Okay, all our bills are going up. We have increase in grocery bills, we have increase in energy bills. So again, my vision is, if we're going to live in this beautiful society, I think we got to give back. And I think that we need to really have free public transportation and free internet. And I think that that would make a huge difference. And it's really more of an interconnectivity of the city. Nobody's going to go to Staten Island, but if it's free to go to Staten Island, then maybe I'll take my kids. I need to go to work. Why do I have to spend all this money to get on the train, the bus, and the train? Why can't I spend that money for lunch? Do we have to think about how we're going to give back to the worker and the community? And then, instead of putting the cost of the infrastructure on the homeowner, let's focus on improving our parks. I went to Flushing Meadows the other day. It's a little bit outside the district, but it's still there. And the water is disgusting, right? Now that's City Council District 24, who's supposed to be a big environmentalist, right? That's also right there at City Council 29. Why is the water so dirty if we're such an environmentally friendly place, but we can't keep our own park water clean? That's a problem, So I want to have the infrastructure for the families so that we can actually enjoy our city.
So let's backtrack a little bit and dive a little bit more into, let's say you do free buses, right, or transportation. Who's paying for that?
See, that's what everybody says, who's paying for it, but we already pay. We already pay taxes. And what the last few years have showed us is that if there is money to pay for the social services for every single person that decides to come over here, we can have the money to pay to help the people that actually live here. What am I saying that's so wrong? I'm not against anything. I'm just saying we need to be taken care of. And I just believe that, again, it's not about who's paying. What I'm saying is that if I have $6 in my pocket that I'm not giving to the MTA, I'm going to go to the store, right? So everybody has extra money. They're going to go buy lunch. They're going to give the money to the businesses. And every time we use that money, that gets taxed. So why are you going to tax me and take all my money before I even get into the city to work, when let that circulate and let us build an economy? That's how the thought process you have to have. Don't take it from everybody right away. Let us use it.
I mean, for me particularly, I love the idea of having free transportation. But when I say who's paying for it, for me, I don't like knowing that the government would probably be most likely in charge of it. Let's say City Council would have a board that convenes every year to talk about how the prices. What I fear would be that if they had control of it, if they had control of the rents and regulations, it would be even maybe somewhat more corrupt in some parts. They could pass bills and the prices could increase without us knowing. Because even right now, when we have the MTA's yearly reviews, how many people actually go to it or know about it, or et cetera?
Well, the MTA is an independent body, right? I understand what the MTA is doing. The MTA provides a lot of work for a lot of union labor, right? So they have to, there's a lot of money that they need to pay for prevailing wage and for the pensions and all those things. Believe me, I know that. But I'm not saying everything should be for free. I'm just saying that if we alleviate some of the burden of the family, if we alleviate some of the burden for everybody that has to go to work, there's going to be more money in the economy. It's just the way that it works. I'm not looking for, schools are free, right? Certain things are free, right? So just put a little bit more money in our pocket. That's what I'm saying. And the easiest way to do that is to just not let me spend it when I go to work in the morning. Like,
That makes
and I
sense.
get it. Like, it's not a simple thing. And yes, there's going to be corruption, but, whatever. Like, whatever.
All right, so what would be one of the second policies that you would want to work on?
I think the second policy that I would probably work on is to probably try to eliminate the amount of money that special interests give to city council. I think that even the CFB and the matching funds and all that extra money, I don't see it being beneficial. Policy is written by special interests. You got organizations that donate to candidates through surveys, this, that, and the other thing, and then the organizations are then given 3 to 5 minutes at the start of every meeting. So why not pass a bill where the start of every city council meeting is an individual, like only people that live in the district, not corporations, not special interests, not businesses, but the people, because that's who, in essence, they must represent, right? So there has to be a removal of the hierarchy of the donor class in city council. I think that's something that's important. And just get that money out of the politics.
I mean, right now the Democratic Party, since they have larger numbers and they have primaries on a regular basis, you can see that money exponentially increasing. And I think they would be more scared if they saw Republicans and conservatives with the same amount of money or competition as well. But we don't see that.
What's the money going to do? What does the money do?
Well-
Mailers?
well,
you want to send
10
10 pieces of mail, because that's what it costs. It's $40,000 to $80,000 a mailer. So that's what the money's going for. They want to cause garbage all over I mean, seriously.
Well, me personally, I don't want us spending more of our tax dollars on stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, right now, the ones that are benefiting right now is the Democratic Party because they have so many. Now, if they saw competitions with the other parties, then I would assume they would say, oh, well, you know what, let's relax, let's cut it down, let's budget it. I mean, in this situation that you want, would you say eliminating the matching funds program? How do you take that from an independent body?
50 city council candidates, let's just 51, right?
51.
Let's say there's 3-4 primaries here and there, right? So that's what, let's say 200 candidates at $200,000. Who's paying for that? See, when I ask you who's paying for that, it's understood. It's all well and good. So again, there's things that we can pay for and things that we don't need to pay for. Like for me, I go, like somebody told me, petitions move mountains. So I'm here because I can go and I can get signatures, right? That didn't cost me any money, right? So, yeah, like who's paying for that? Like who's paying for CFB, right?
The only thing I remember from their rules, and I think they would want to, the only reason they would want to keep it is that, let's say, an independent, rich billionaire can afford it. Now, the more grassroots candidates can't.
Well, listen, I got on the ballot, right?
That's true.
And I got no money, and I have no support of the party, but I'm still doing it because I will get probably more percentage higher than probably all of the city. Watch, out of all the city council candidates, except for the Paladinos and the Areolas, I will get the highest percentage of votes by myself without the support of the party. And you'll see that. So the old way of doing things, of raising the money for what? What are you doing with it? You're going to get palm cards and mailers and all that stuff, and it means nothing because it doesn't work. Because obviously what I'm doing is working. So I get where you're coming from, but you don't need money.
Not just me, but the system in place.
Well,
Now, let's step back just a little bit. You have run before. What was your percentage last time?
last time I got 42%. I understand that I was carried.
Let's say that a little bit stronger. Got 42%.
42%.
There you go. Say that, with some love.
I got 20,000 votes, which is almost the highest amount of votes in my neighborhood, like ever for a Republican candidate. And I know that the presidential helped carry me, but listen, I beat all the parties' candidates. I beat them, right? How did I do that, right? And what do I get invited to go speak? Am I invited at one of your fancy fundraisers? No, I'm not. Never. I'm not allowed to go to civic meetings, right? I'm told if I show up, I'll get arrested. They write stuff about me in the newspaper, right? And then what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? It's not fair.
Yeah, look, to each his own in the stuff, but once again, the we can't control the associations. The thing now, what I would love to do is not only the increase in number percentages, the people that are voting, the groups and or associations that want us. I mean, even the media alone. How often do you see anybody but the Democratic, people getting their candidates getting their primaries done and voice heard, but all the others now Republicans, conservatives have to focus on independent journalism to get that voice out there. It's not right, but once again, how do they get it? Let's say matching funds would be an opportunity. I'm not saying it's the right way, but I'm saying that's an opportunity.
Yeah, listen, I get it, man. I'd love to get. I'll raise money and I'll get that $200,000 and whatever. But it's not necessary.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
If you're going to ask me who's paying for a bus, and I'm going to say, well, who's paying for matching funds? You see, it's the same thing.
And I appreciate you bringing that point up so that people can start talking about that as well.
Yeah.
Now, what would be the third policy you would want to work on?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, what we're up against, right, in city council is we're up against an ideology, okay? We're up against a group of people that are not individuals in as much as they are representatives of foreign interests and special interests, and they want to push us into a future that is not one of freedom, right? So what we really have to do is represent our neighborhood, represent freedom to the best of our ability, because I want my neighborhood to look a certain way. So it's not really about an individual policy, but like, for example, one of the things that I believe in is simple things, right? Like, let's change in all the city buildings and where all the city workers live, why not change all the light bulbs to something that's like more healthier, right? Or it resembles the sun a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that we can spend money to enrich. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of mindset you have to have as going in there. It's how do we enrich and how do we make people's lives better, as opposed to forcing them to change in a way that's beneficial to a corporation, because that's what they're doing. And the fact is that look at the makeup of the people that's in city council. Okay, it's not what you think it is. You know what I mean? People have this idea that a certain group of people are in power and in cahoots to affect the minority population or the disenfranchised population. But look who's actually in city council doing it to their own people. There's certain things that people really have to start to kind of peel back the curtain and understand.
Now, what would you say in Queens you see that most?
Well, Jackson Heights, for one thing. I mean, Jackson Heights is like, prostitution. It's human trafficking. It's smuggling. And look who's there. Look who they present as the leaders in Jackson Heights. A lot of like my family's immigrants. A lot of people, and my ex-wife's an immigrant. Like my kids are mixed. Like, we're not ultra hardcore leftists. Like, we have family values, and most of them do. But they have this perception that one side is against them, when in reality it's the side that's telling them that the other person is the enemy is the one that's hurting them. And that's really what people need to understand and see. And it's not something that they're going to be able to notice. It's like the truth isn't something that you can be told.
So a lot of things that you're saying, some people would say, you're speaking more like a Democrat than a Republican today. How would you answer that?
Again, the Republican Party is a party of the people. Like, it's very difficult to accept truth, right? Like, the Republican Party is the party founded to free slaves. Like, that's just what it is, okay? I'm sorry, it's a party of the people. You can say whatever you'd like, and you could think that things happened in the course of history that didn't happen. But the Republican Party is the party of the people. It always has been. It's the party of family. It's the party of less government. It's the party of no centralization. And that's what's going to help us move forward. Look at the Democratic cities. Look at Roosevelt Avenue. I mean, look at it. Is that what you want? Is that what you want your neighborhood to be? You know, if your answer is yes, then by all means go and vote for them. But, you know, I'm in Forest Hills, Assembly District 28, City Council 29 and 30, where, you know, it's a single family residential neighborhood. It's a nice place, and we're not trying to turn it into Long Island City. Like, it's not Long Island City, it's not Roosevelt. It's its own thing, and we got to keep that.
So now, in your community, what would you say something that you want to try to keep that's there if and when you win?
I think that there's, like, for example, my kids used to play Little League at Forest Hills Little League. Behind there's tracks, right? They've been, you know, unused for a very, very long time. So why not make a Forest Hills High Line? Why not make a park where the families can use that can increase the value of the neighborhood? But then you can pass a bill or try to say that any improvements to the neighborhood that are uplifting, there's no increase in taxes, you know, to make sure that the property taxes don't increase. If you're really doing upgrades to the neighborhood, you know, we can pass legislation like that. So that's one idea that I'd like to do for the neighborhood, is just improve on, like, give the neighborhood an identity. And then in my neighborhood, it's a Forest Hill Stadium, right? So I want to discuss that for a second, because the Forest Hill Stadium is an iconic place. It's been there forever. It's great for the neighborhood. But what's happening now is that the residents who live outside the neighborhood have no representation in the daily activities of the Forest Hill Stadium. So their houses are getting, you know, demolished, and there's trash and all that stuff. So, but there's so much money being made that the issue is now the balance of the stadium is good, but the neighbors aren't getting represented. So the neighbors need to have a better deal with the stadium. So that's something that I want to work on as well.
So I'm not familiar with that stadium particularly. Is that like a sports stadium or a community stadium?
It was where it's Arthur Ashe used to play there. It's an iconic old stadium where the U.S. Open was played before they built the one in Flushing Meadows. They use it to have concerts. It's great for the businesses, but the neighborhood is suffering from it because they have a bad deal with the stadium. Right? So that's a big issue in Forest Hills in terms of the stadium. Another part of my district is Jamaica Avenue under the J train, right? But, you know, we have to make sure that, that area gets some uplifting as well. I mean, you can't forget about Jamaica Avenue. Richmond Hill, which is a, very, it's got Victorian houses over there. We got to keep the historic aspect of that neighborhood because it's, the city of Yes is going to pretty much not conform or respect the historical aspect of the neighborhood.
One of the things I don't like about the city of Yes when it comes to the housing part is what a lot of people may or may not know is that let's say you have a single family home, you can convert the basement to an apartment, you can build something in the back of it as an apartment.
Yeah.
You can change the attic, whatever. So now, and what you were saying earlier, nobody thought or they were trying to avoid having the park. Now you're going to have increase in parking. Single family homes are going to be pretty much gone in a couple of years if everything goes through.
Well, listen, they had an issue with illegal basement apartments. So one of the great ideas was let's just legalize them, right? But your taxes are going to go up. And the one thing nobody's telling you is that if you take that apartment, you have to conform to the energy standards. So you are going to have to be all electric. You are going to have to pay tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars to connect from your basement to the street, to connect the electricity, to connect the plumbing, to connect. And then whether you get legal or not, who's going to show up? Just like the garbage cans. You don't have a garbage can? What do you get? $150 fine. What do you think is going to happen when you have a tenant? Now, what do you think is going to happen when you want to sell your home, but you have a tenant that's now Section 8 that doesn't want to leave, or you have a problem tenant? Do you understand? It's like, it's not going to help anybody. It's a trick to make people convert to electric at the cost of the homeowner. And that's the ugly truth that people are gonna realize.
So if you got into office, you would try to fight the bill going through?
Well, it's already passed, right?
But I'm saying the legal, I'm sure there's legal...
Yes, I will try to pass legislation to avoid compliance with the city of Yes. Yes, 100%. I will do everything in my power to make sure that the homeowner is protected, the property taxes don't go up, the infrastructure is taken care of. And if you want to rent out, it's supposed to help you, right? Not put you in a sea and mess of legal red tape when you're under. What happens if the DOB comes to you and gives you $60,000 in fines, right? Now that's a lien on your house. So when you go to sell your house and you try to make a profit, you don't have it. Okay, and then when you don't pay your taxes, you don't pay the liens, they can come and take your house. So who thought that was a good idea?
Just to double check, you don't have a primary, do you?
I don't have a primary, absolutely not. I'm a parent, I'm a father, I got kids. I don't have time for a primary, I don't want a primary. But, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing about when people ask you, why are you conservative, why are you Republican? Listen, man, there's nobody running as a Republican. Why would I have to go against 7 people and do a primary when I can just go straight to November? It's just simple.
Well, fair enough. So now, if the people want to reach you and get in contact with you, how would they do?
Well, my name's Jonathan Rinaldi. You can Google me. I mean, Instagram, JDR for NYC. I mean, it's pretty, these days it's pretty easy to find somebody. It's jdrfornyc.com. But just, all I can say, and I always say this to the message of everybody, is that no, there is no savior. There's nobody that's going to come and save you. There's nobody that's going to do everything for you. We're in a representative government, and everybody has to get involved, and everybody has to learn how to impact locally. And once we do that, we can take our city back.
Thank you, Jonathan, for being with us today. For those that are interested in coming onto the show, feel free to email me at gonzaloduranyc@gmail.com. And just to get to know me better, feel free to check out all my social media at Gonzalo Duran NYC. Now, until then, and as always, God bless you and God bless America. Hello, everyone. This is Political Chit Chat, and I'm your host, Gonzalo Duran. I look forward to talking to you about global and local politics. If you'd like to be on the show, feel free to email me at gonzaloduranyc@gmail.com. To get to know me better, feel free to check out my social media at Gonzalo Duran NYC. Until then, and as always, God bless America.